Connor MacDonald is riding his electric bike to the 7 Days Hotel, commonly known as Lover's Harbour, to deliver food. Today is the birthday of his girlfriend Mandy Haynes. After delivering the last order in the morning, he will have a date with her. With anticipation, Connor carried the delivery and headed for the 7 Days Hotel. Just then, a young man and a girl came out of the elevator hand in hand. The girl was wearing a super short skirt and had a sexy body. And the two were snuggling and flirting with each other, just like a couple. The girl, it is Connor's girlfriend Mandy. Brandon, a wealthy classmate of Connor's, tells Connor that Mandy is now dating him. Connor can't believe all this, and he prays for Mandy to come back to him, for which he will work harder. However, Mandy and Brandon tease Connor about his lack of wealth and power. Mandy ends her relationship with Connor, saying that he doesn't deserve her, and leaves the hotel with Brandon. Connor recalls his college days with Mandy. From their innocent beginnings on a faculty fellowship to her constant insults about his financial status. Despite his efforts to work to support Mandy, she cheats on him with a much wealthier man. Connor vows to prove his worth, insisting that Mandy will one day regret her decision. In the cafeteria at Potterdampton University, Connor's roommate, Dominic Turner, comforts him. Dominic says that a hot beauty like Mandy is destined to be with a rich man. To Dominic's shock, Connor had never slept with Mandy, even though they had been together for a long time. He and Mandy had never slept together because Connor truly loved Mandy and respected Mandy's choice. Connor looked at the orders on his phone. And the only good thing about the breakup was that he could finally stop making deliveries. Just then, he receives a message informing him of a $1 billion deposit into his account, leaving him completely stunned. A low male voice came from the other end of the line, confirming that Connor had received the transfer and stating that it was part of Connor's inheritance. Connor is surprised, as he is an orphan, yet the man invites him to the Empire World building for further explanation. After taking a part-time job as a delivery man, Connor is staying at a rented place off campus because of the late hours. It was still early for the appointment, so Connor planned to go home and get some sleep before going to the Empire State Building. When he arrived home, his stomach growled, and he hurriedly grabbed a roll of toilet paper and ran into the bathroom. Just then, someone suddenly opened the bathroom door. A pretty girl in a lace-up robe walked in, looking as if she was still half asleep. Completely unaware of his presence, the girl began to undress, revealing her stunning figure, which left Connor shocked and speechless. Noticing Connor, Mina screamed, threw makeup at him and stormed out, accusing him of being a pervert. After regaining his senses, Connor argues that it was Mina who broke in on him. Realizing that there was no place to hide in the cramped bathroom, Mina blushed, but she still questioned why he was in the bathroom. Connor counters that the break-in was her fault and criticizes her for not working or listening like he does. On this day, Mina walked in while Connor was using the bathroom, but she accused him of deliberately leaving the door unlocked. Connor countered that he had left the light on, which should have been a clear sign that the bathroom was occupied. They argued, and Mina demanded that he apologize because Connor had almost seen her naked. Connor, however, was furious and said that he would not glance at Mina's flat chest, even if Mina begged him to. Mina throws a mat at Connor as he leaves the house, but he is already gone. Leaving his rented house, he heads to the Empire World building to find a meeting with the mystery man. Upon arriving at the Empire State Building, the beautiful receptionist says to him dismissively, "Excuse me, sir, please go to the fire escape on the side for delivery." Connor said he was there to find someone not to make a delivery, but the receptionist not only didn't believe him, but also wouldn't let Connor enter the building. Connor was anxious to meet the mystery man and find out if the inheritance was real as soon as possible, so he ignored the receptionist and rushed to the elevator. In his haste to get into the elevator, Connor did not notice that there was someone inside, and he collided with the person in the elevator. She was holding a cup of coffee in her hand, which spilled onto her chest. Connor couldn't help but look up at the woman in the elevator and froze in place. The woman was beautiful, wearing a black professional suit that accentuated her almost perfectly hot body. Her long, slender legs were wrapped in a pair of black stockings. Overall, she looked very pleasing to the eye. Although there was a hint of anger on her pretty face, she was still sexy and attractive. While apologizing, Connor took a tissue out of his pocket and tried to wipe the coffee off the pretty girl's dress. But the pretty girl screamed and started to ask for help from the security guard. As Connor, accused of misconduct, hurried into the elevator, security guards swarmed him. He sprinted to the 38th floor, leaving the guards behind. Miss Moore, who had allegedly been harassed by him, instructed the security team to wait for him and block the exit. In the elevator, Connor contemplates not only his plight, but also a sum of money he recently received called an inheritance. The 38th floor is a luxurious one-room office with a stunning city view. A middle-aged man named Thomas Morgan greets Connor, identifying himself as the managing director of Empire World Corporation. He told Connor that Connor had inherited a huge fortune from his uncle and grandfather, the former chairman of Empire World Corporation. Stunned, Connor remembered his uncle, who he thought had died when he was still young. Thomas explained that this uncle-grandfather had no direct heirs and that he had left the entire estate to Connor. Thomas detailed the estate, which included $1 billion in cash, Empire World, businesses in Europe and Africa, and several oil companies. Connor was shocked. Overwhelmed by the size of the estate, Connor reconfirmed that all of these assets were his. Thomas said yes, and explained that the estimated total value of these estates was $10 trillion. Unable to comprehend the size, Connor questions why his granduncle is not listed among the world's richest people. Thomas explains that the people on these lists seek social resources and fame, which his grandfather had no interest in. Connor is convinced of Thomas's honesty and asks if there are any conditions for access to the estate. Thomas shows Connor the will Mr. Barry made, which states that he will inherit Mr. Barry's vast fortune, but only if he marries Freya Phillips, a woman he doesn't know. Otherwise, the entire estate will be donated to a charitable foundation. Connor was stunned and asked who Freya Phillips was, not realizing that a wife was attached to the inheritance of the will. Thomas regrets that according to the will, he cannot reveal anything about her. Eager to escape poverty, Connor agrees despite his concerns about Freya's physical appearance. And who would turn down a hefty inheritance? After signing the will, he was handed a prestigious debit card tied to his new company, worth over $10 trillion. Thomas respectfully handed the card to Connor, indicating that he was running the company for Connor. If there was any trouble, feel free to call him. When he left the office and took the elevator downstairs, he was surrounded by security. This was because he had inadvertently bumped into a woman, Miss Moore, before going upstairs. She joined the receptionist in accusing him of moles. Connor said he did accidentally bump into Miss Moore earlier and admitted his mistake and apologized. The black stocking lady looked at Connor with contempt and demanded that he kneel and kowtow to her, or else she would turn Connor over to the police. As Connor was surrounded by guards, he looked helpless. He did not expect the lady to make such an unreasonable demand. Connor turned his head to look at the security chief, but he said nothing. Just because he was poor didn't mean he didn't have dignity. Just then, an angry voice came from behind Connor. "What are you all doing here, Scarlett?"